Hello and welcome everyone to Adobe Live. I am your host. My name is Corey Hall and I am here with VooDoo Val. Val, how are you today?
I am doing so good. Today has been a fabulous day thus far, and I know it's only about to get better.
It has been so fun. If you are joining us in the chat, thank you. Hi, hello. Let us know where you're joining from. I see a lot of familiar faces from our last live stream. We literally just hopped off where I was in the hot seat. I was doing some designing. Today, you are going to be doing some illustrating on live stream.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you all for joining us. If you are joining us in the chat, make sure you give Adobe Live a follow on Instagram. If you're joining us over on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button just to stay up to date on all of the new releases, all the live streams. We'd love to have you. Oliver, hi, thank you. Wade, thank you for being here. Irma, hello. I see my mom is in the live chat. Yo. Hi, Mom. So happy to have you here. Andrew, thank you for being here. We are so excited. We had such a great time in our last live stream. I'm so excited to dive into this. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and then talk about what you're going to do today?
Yeah, so I'm a digital painter predominantly. I do a lot of graphic design and some animation and stuff too, but typically I do stuff like this. And honestly, I'm mostly doing portraits and environments and landscape illustrations aren't usually my forte, but I do have a few. But you can see, like, as somebody who's predominantly painting portraits, a lot of my landscapes are like in portrait form, where they're like, you know, little narrow glimpses. But I also have like character portraits that I've done, so we're gonna like work around with this one. But this is probably one of my most favorite paintings. This is my Prince Kylo.
Oh,
this is my Prince Kylo Ren painting.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what we're gonna be doing today is I'm going to be expanding upon a lot of these images. These are especially the Prince Kylo and the obelisk illustration. These are some that are, I think, pretty popular in my portfolio.
Totally.
And what I like to do is use Generative Expand to kind of expand the canvas and see what else I can add to my paintings. And what I like to do is to kind of use that Generative Expand as just the same way that you would if you kind of use the crop tool just to widen your canvas. Give yourself a little bit more room to paint, but I've kind of been experimenting with having it kind of populate my canvas with more texture from the rest of my painting. And as it seems to like read my work, it kind of populates with the same colors that I've painted with the same sort of texture that I've painted with, which is interesting. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do some illustration.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what a cool tool. You can kind of like use it to help iterate, expand out. Like almost, I like think of it almost like as a sketching tool in a way, because it can help you kind of like fill out and expand your own illustrations.
Yeah. Especially with doing stuff like for landscapes, because since I'm really not as comfortable doing landscapes. This ends up being something where I'm like, okay, but instead of staring at a blank canvas when I'm not really sure what to put in all of these other places, if I just take all this green and all these chunky clouds and it just throws it over to the side for me too, then I can start to like kind of elaborate on that. So we can do stuff like this. Let's just kind of go ahead and do one. Yeah,
I'm curious to see how this is gonna work. This is like really cool. So are you in Photoshop beta right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes. And so I am just going to, in fact, I'm gonna hold on, let me go back. I'm gonna hold, if I can.
Well, and so what I think, what everyone in the chat should know is that Photoshop Beta is actually available to anyone who has a Creative Cloud subscription, isn't that right?
Yes,
so
indeed.
If you go over to your Creative Cloud desktop, I don't know, what are we calling it? The Creative Cloud, just like desktop app.
Yeah.
You can go into the left-hand sidebar and you're able to look at all of the beta versions of Adobe apps, and Photoshop Beta is in there. So if you are curious about the tools that we're using here today, you should go check that out. Download Photoshop Beta, and you can try out some of these tools yourself at home.
Yeah.
Wait, so did it just generate all that?
Yeah, so it just, but it's like, it looks like, because right here is, you know, where my original painting was, and it just kind of smeared those colors. And one of the things that I noticed is that it doesn't really put stuff in there that looks like, it doesn't look like I painted stuff really, but it kind of takes all those like textures and things and throws it in there. And like, this isn't the birds, you know, but because I have like the birds in there. But that is like, kind of gives me an idea of like, if I put more birds in there, it could kind of expand over there. And there's a few, like this kind of gives me this idea, like it might be interesting if there was like some kind of moon in the background.
Like a dual moon situation.
Yeah, like that could be super cool. And then stuff like this, like I don't know if I like that at all. This kind of looks like more of a mountain out there.
Yep.
I could see it tried to kind of mimic my clouds. But like kind of snagging one of these and doing something in this way that would give me kind of a starting place for what I might do can be really cool. So then what I would probably do, honestly, is I would come in and I wouldn't use all of this. Like I have... this is my little noisy texture brush. What I would do is I would start to come over here and like kind of scribble certain things out. Maybe grab some more of this here and be like, yeah, you know, we should add some more clouds and stuff. Maybe grab some of this darker color here. If I can sample it, there we go. You know, and add more of the darker clouds and kind of start to fade those in. It would be really cool if I could add, you know, if I make a new layer here, come in and start painting in more of these white clouds that are here.
Can I just say this is so cool because I have obviously known you as an illustrator for years now. Never seen you work like this before.
Oh.
So this is like, this is such a privilege for me to be sitting here and watching the artist at work. This is amazing.
So I guess though, like we have only ever really done like graphic design and stuff kind of like that, like photo editing and things together. So yeah, this is a first.
Yeah, so context for the people in the chat, and I see we've got AAR Creativo. Thank you for joining us again. We saw you yesterday, so we're happy to have you here. Again, Mima here, thank you. Tammy, my mom, is in the chat. Alan, my dad, is in the chat. Umacorn is here. Christian, sorry. Thank you all for joining us. So for context, Val and I have been live streaming together for like a couple of years now. We've done our first couple of live streams all remote, so like each in our own individual homes. But today we're here in the Adobe Live studio in San Francisco. This is day 2 of our like first in-person live streams together.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like so just awestruck right now watching you draw in real time right next to me. It's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's actually really cool just because I keep forgetting that there's a lot of stuff that we haven't done together. But it feels different because we've been like working with each other for so long and working so well, you know, with each other for so long. So yeah, this is kind of like a major first for a lot of these things. And so what I'm doing, by the way, I realized I didn't say is I did make some clipping masks. So I kind of like created one of these shapes like I did when I originally painted the clouds here, and I'm just kind of like throwing in those colors and like, okay, if I want to add more clouds, how would I do that? I know I have like this dark color under here to signify like the bottom of the cloud, and then I can come down here and sample like this neon color where I liked to come in here and if I make my brush small and just kind of start throwing this like more neon color.
Yeah,
here,
so this is actually a great chance to answer a question that we have in chat. Anthony Jackson is asking, so you can draw on top of generative AI files. Could you maybe like show us sort of like how the layers are broken down in this file?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the, I keep touching my thing there and it works as a touch screen. So I did my, just like the column in the center, the obelisk there, that was the original image. So if I pull that off, you can see this is my painting that I did. And I generated just using the Generative Expand, which I turned my crop tool on and I pulled my my crop tool out to give me more on the left and right, and then I just said generate without putting in a prompt. So it would just generate with what it feels like should go there, which is kind of an amalgamation of all of the colors I have used in my work. And kind of built it out to just kind of look like it goes together. And then what I'm doing is like, okay, you know, now I have this all. I personally would not choose to not push it any further than that because I want to elaborate a little more on these things. And because I am doing like a generative expand of something that is my own painting, like my own illustration, it is not, you know, like I'm elaborating and interpreting certain forms in 3D space with my own style. So not everything looks accurate, and it doesn't know like what all this neon stuff is, because you know what? There's no big neon cesspits of strange magic all over the place in the wilds of the world. Unfortunately, yeah, you know, that would be a great place for spelling.
I would love that if there were.
But that's not real. So when it looks at all the stuff that I've painted, it's like, all right, how about some more random neon here and random neon there? So I've kind of come in and I'm making it make sense, and I'm like adding my illustration and everything sort of back to it. But it's cool because for me personally, like I said earlier, it's difficult sometimes for me to illustrate landscapes because I'm a portrait artist.
Yep.
I like to design characters. I
Yeah.
don't like to do all this stuff, but this was for a story I was writing, and I needed to have like this, you know, like impactful obelisk out in the middle of like the wastes, you know, and make it look really cool. So I did it.
Well, and this is so great because now you have sort of your original image, you've got this like sketch on top of it that allows you to like expand your own imagination of like what else could be in this scene, and then it gives you a chance to like build something out, and now you've got like this really big, broad illustration that you can build on top of and like use for a lot of different types of things.
Exactly, and it just makes me like, I like it because I'm working with my own work here.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of throwing all that texture and stuff in. It gives me a starting place for my own personal illustrations.
Yeah.
And I also still feel like I maintain a lot of originality here because I'm using it in lieu of just adding more on a blank canvas, where I can kind of get in there and visualize what I'm doing and feel immersed in the rest of the scene rather than like struggling to fill that blank space.
Yep.
So that's really cool. I also would come in and do, you know, some of this. Like I'd come in with this white and like, these are not birds over here. Not birds at all.
No.
But we can make them birds.
Yeah, well,
maybe
it's
if
great.
I'm not
It's
on the
like
clipping mask.
you've done the heavy lifting of creating this original illustration. You've like thought through whatever story you want to tell with this illustration. You've thought through the colors, you've thought through the themes, the aesthetic, all the things, and now you're sort of using this tool to help expand upon this original idea, this original concept. And so now you have like this little additional flock of birds that you're like, okay, I can either say, I like it, I'm gonna expand on it, add to it, or I don't like it and we're just gonna erase it.
And I can, you know, I'm just like kind of making like winged forms.
Yep.
That's what this is. It's not, you know, they're not like perfect birds. We can also do, you know, one of these little swipes and swoops. You know, maybe that's a bird looking
Bloop, bloop.
that away. You know, we don't know.
We don't know.
But that's, you know, kind of like these little birds that I added in here. And I actually would probably make this even smaller, really. I kind of drew them over the top of those little specks that were there. But maybe we put those like, you know, kind of there and just
like a little flock that's just, maybe it's flocking to the other flock.
Yeah, they're
next to the
catching
tower.
up. And I would work on like the composition, but it's really cool because like, you know, I've kind of put in a new cloud. Like I added these clouds and start to, you know, build out that form, which is really cool and a lot of fun for me to kind of elaborate on some of my own personal illustration.
Yeah.
Another thing that is kind of cool to do is, and I did a test of this the other day, but I have a lot of portraits in my portfolio, and doing the portraits started out, number one, because I love doing portraits, but number two, it started out because I was kind of at a loss as to, you know, what else to put, you know, like I wasn't very good at like posing characters and illustrating anatomy, so like doing front-facing portraits of my favorite characters from like Star Wars or my favorite animes was something I like to do, but now I have the know-how to do more, you know, so coming into something like this is kind of a blast because I can add more drama, you know, I can add more oomph to this, and so that's we're gonna do this one too.
Well, and that's cool that you decided to challenge yourself by doing something, adding portraits to your portfolio, which you like didn't necessarily have a lot of, and it seems like it's kind of paid off recently too, right? Because you had the Star Wars community pick up on a portrait like illustration work that you've done. Can you like talk to that a little bit as you're? I don't want to. I'm distracting you a little bit.
No,
but
it's
I'm
fine.
Just, like,
no, it's perfect.
I think it's really cool.
I will talk about this anytime. So I do a lot of Star Wars fan art, a lot of Star Wars fan art, and let's go ahead and generate this real quick, and I'll talk while we're generating. So I do a lot of Star Wars fan art because I love Star Wars. I've been doing Star Wars fan art for years, and somebody from Penguin Random House found my illustrations, my Star Wars fan art, and then approached me to do work like official Lucasfilm portraits and posters for Lucasfilm books and stuff.
So cool.
Doing fan art does work out really, really
Yeah.
nicely.
Following your passions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're following your passions, doing something that you're really good at. It's like naturally it's gonna like take off. People are gonna notice it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So that was pretty dope.
Also, wow, this is like
So it kind of like it kind of filled in all the texture, and like it I don't think it understands really what I was doing here. I was very like sketchy and random when I did it, and there's a few different iterations which are kind of interesting with a lot of like glowy stuff and things. I think I'm gonna do a few other, like I'm just gonna hit generate again and let it go on, and what I want to do is I just want to find something. That first one might work, just something that has the texture from the background in the rest of the canvas and kind of gives that movement to it. I don't know what that is, but this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's like very, I like the swirling darkness minus that weird thing.
Little uniform for my liking here with those like strikes. This one actually looks like it actually thought maybe it was a guy.
Whoa.
Which is kind of cool.
That's interesting.
That's actually really neat.
Well, yeah, he's like doing something. He's reaching back.
Just like like standing, like he's like striking a pose there. I might actually use the first one, however, just because it all it did was kind of like fill in this canvas with stuff. And I think what I would do personally is like really darken from this corner and start to throw in my own version of like more of a full body. So.
Yeah, I like this. The swirling, you've got some movement that you could like potentially build around too.
Yeah.
Jermaine in the chat says your Mandalorian collection is the dopest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I did like Helmets of Mandalore, which that was the first thing that I ever did that like Behance was like, you get a ribbon. I was like, what?
Your first ribbon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That's so cool. See, your Star Wars work is like, everyone's appreciating and recognizing your Star Wars work. That is so cool. Oh,
you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my image smaller. That's what I'm going to do, because this is...
is it lagging
that's the one thing.
bit?
Yeah, just a tiny bit, but like this is massive. So let's go to canvas size. No, I should go to image size. Not canvas size, because I don't want it to crop. So
It's pretty cool that the generative AI is able to generate something at such a high resolution based off of your source image. That's really cool.
Let's go into pixels.
Susanna says, wow, big congratulations, Val. That's so awesome. And then Christian says, the first image generated looks like a storm is generating around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which is really cool. I had the same thought, Christian. It looks like those kind of like, I don't know. So it's, he's wearing a rose crown, it looks like. So it's almost like these like rose petals are swirling up around him.
Yeah.
In a really cool way.
So I'm just gonna like kind of darken this up. What I do really like is I like the idea that like up close, like on another layer, I would paint, more petals, but like throw more petals in that are like blurred close to the camera. Yeah. Like kind of swooping in.
Add a little bit of perspective.
Like it's still like maybe kind of to that point from the chat of like it's it's curling around and kind of whipping around the canvas. But really what I want to do is I want to take just kind of use this as a base, and I'm gonna snag, let's grab like this purple color, because I do really like this purple, and I'm gonna throw this in here, and what I'm gonna do is just create my own like just alter the color so that everything fades the way that I want. So I'm just kind of throwing in all of these colors here the way I want them, and then we're going to start painting in like a body. We're going to give him a lightsaber, of course.
Oh, of course.
We're going to give him a purple crossblade lightsaber because no one can stop me. That's what I want for him.
We are here to do, this is your illustration. I want you to go in. And like the purple too is just, oh my gosh. So beautiful, so juicy.
I might do that. It's still textury. It's good. Like what I don't need, and this is, it depends on what is right for you. But like for me, is like, I can paint all this stuff in. What I need is encouragement and the space to do so comfortably. So like just having that texture in there, that's good enough for me. And I derive the most joy, honestly, from like being able to like come in and noodle around with it myself. But still is like, can be like really a cool thing for those of you who would like to kind of test it out and see what the best is for you. I'm also going to come in here, and I'm not going to actually paint all this, like that much of it out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start forming, we're going to use a blending mode because I want his cape to cascade behind him.
Oh, cool.
So I'm just going to throw the darker colors back there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have his arm like rearing up with like the lightsaber. Yeah.
posing for battle.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's like mid-step,
Yep.
kind of. I'm also going to take this off my wrist because I think this dragging across
Oh, yeah, not helpful.
my intuos is, giving me a little grief there. So this is cool. Let's go ahead and throw that on a blending mode because I think it's just going to,
Wow.
that might work. Because
Uh-huh.
all I want is for the color to fade. Let me get my eraser. I want the color to fade, like from back here, and I want that hard line to go for his like robes and stuff trailing behind.
Yeah, Christian says the idea that the character would be exiting, emerging from a storm is kind of like you've got a lot of that cool movement, and I like actually that they're facing out of frame in a way because it gives you all this room in the back to like have this additional movement, and it creates a sense of mystery almost of like what's he moving towards, like, you know, what's he gonna do next?
What's over there?
Yeah, what is over there? I don't know. What do you think is over there?
Probably the scavenger. You know, that seems to be what he's chasing after all the time. Probably, maybe his uncle's over there and he's just mad.
Yeah,
You
he
know?
does look a little mad.
He always is mad. He's like the Hulk, except I feel like Kylo Ren seems more like he's on the verge of tears than anything.
He does kind of seem like
He's got some glossy eyes.
he does.
You know.
That's why we like him.
That's why he wears the mask.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Is that like I can't let anybody know?
No,
I'm
he's afraid to
sad.
show his emotion, but like he is a sad boy at heart.
He is definitely a sad
Yeah.
boy. He's my favorite Disney princess. Technically, he's a
Wait,
and
I love
he's
that.
he's actually a legitimate prince.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Star
because
Wars.
Princess Leia
Oh, of course.
is his mom.
Oh my
so
gosh.
He's like an actual
So he's a prince.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got that
Your favorite Disney princess?
Garnier Fructis commercial hair. So
Oh my gosh, I mean the hair, honestly. The hair and the like the sad eyes. Oh man. Paloma says sad and angry, LOL. Yup.
So we're gonna do this. Is gonna be like his arm. Bear with me. We're experimenting. This is gonna turn into like a whole body with like a whole lightsaber and stuff. You just gotta trust the process.
Nope. I mean, I fully trust you. I can see the vision. It's emerging. Wade says it also conveys that he's leaving a scene, situation, action, and moving on to the next challenge.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Kylo is always moving on to the next challenge.
100%.
Right? From
Oh,
challenge to challenge.
From
I
challenge
feel
to
like.
challenge for sure.
Such a challenging life, for sure. Right?
Yeah, definitely a challenging life. I would argue that he puts himself in those situations sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit
bit.
of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that typically I like to imagine for myself that I attract a Star Wars crowd.
Yeah.
So hopefully nobody is like bored over with me just like talking about Star Wars.
No, I
but-
don't think anyone could be bored watching you illustrate, honestly. No matter what it is you're illustrating.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate
No,
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I feel
true.
so great.
That's how I feel about it.
Wow.
I also am like just recognizing that you're painting in purple and you're wearing this color. Even your glasses are purple. I don't know if people in the chat can really
It's
see
lavender.
that detail, but yeah, we are just like on theme. I missed the memo. Next time we
It's
do a live
fine.
stream, I'm gonna have to buy some purple and wear it.
We've been talking about autumn all day, and honestly, you've got the sweater on. You look very classy. You look very comfortable, and I think that it works. I think it's fine.
I'm feeling the like sweater weather.
Yeah.
The sweater weather vibe. Uma Corn says, not bored, trusting the process. Thank you,
Yes.
Uma Corn. That's why we
Thanks.
love you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And if you are just joining us, if you've hopped into this chat midstream, make sure that you give Val a follow on Instagram at VooDoo Val, right? We'll have someone drop it into
at
the...
voodoo.val.
At voodoo.val. We'll drop it into the chat for you. If you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the updates or any of our upcoming live streams. Follow Adobe Live on Instagram at Adobe Live. And Val, do you want to just like give a... Oh,
We're
is that the
doing-
lightsaber?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah, guys.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's on its way.
I'm so excited. Can you give us like just a really quick recap for the new folks in the chat, sort of what we're looking at here?
So what I'm doing is I have a painting that I did of Kylo Ren. This is I call it my Prince Kylo image, which actually I believe if I just let me go ahead and save this, not there, for sure. Let's go in here. I'm gonna save. That's one of my tests that I did earlier. So I'm gonna call that Prince Kylo 1, and then I'll open just the image so that we can like take a peek at just the image. Desktop. Because I think I have. Yeah. So this is not what I wanted to do. Photos. There we go.
There we go.
So this is a painting that I did.
Beautiful.
These are like a few paintings that I've done. These are my original pieces that I either did, I mean, this is fan art, obviously, because I love Star Wars, but I did this and I've kind of extended the canvas and let the Generative Expand kind of throw the same colors and like painted textures into the rest of the canvas so that I can expand upon my work with iterations of my work and like kind of build into more space on my canvas. And then I have this image which we could still kind of noodle around with. This is Seraphina's house. This is a main character of a horror comedy I'm writing.
I'm in. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
Basically, yes, this is where she lives out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And I will, brief synopsis, long story short, is like the gateway to the void opens up in her basement, and then shenanigans ensue as she is deputized by one of the void princes. Because why not? Why wouldn't she want to like run around?
Also, why can't that happen to me? That sounds so fun and exciting.
Right? Well, I mean, not great all the time because unfortunately void princes eat all the Grey Poupon and red velvet cake in the house.
I
but
hate when that happens.
There's no snacks in the void. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, they come in hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta feed them.
Yeah.
If you want to enjoy the other perks of like the void opening up in your basement, then I think that you need to. You need to give them snacks.
You're gonna have some snacks on hand.
Yeah, you should.
Also from the same story, this is the obelisk of doom that is erected by the big bad uglies.
Yep.
And then Seraphina comes out of her house and is like, oh, so this is happening. Great. But I wanted to illustrate that. And then this was a illustration that I did for a friend of mine who was like, I want you to paint me a dwarf. And I was like, I got you.
Cool.
I got you, fam. I got you.
So cool.
So we've been expanding on these.
Yeah, Paloma says, ooh, reminds me of Monster House, of that Pixar movie. Similar sort of vibes. A little spooky, a little haunted house action. Melissa says, yes, Monster House vibes. Wade, I love this house image. Yeah, super cool.
Thanks, guys.
Very, very cool.
That was like, honestly, the house image that I did was like the first time I'd painted a building. I'd like never painted the building. I never felt confident or comfortable painting buildings and doing landscapes and stuff. And so actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the obelisk and Seraphina's house, those paintings were things where I was like, just sit down and do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just do it. You could do it, I think, and I kept working at it, and I came out with those, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
There are a couple that I'm real proud of.
Well, and it's interesting, like, as creatives, I think sometimes we do sort of need to, like, sit ourselves down and just, like, force, like, we're like, okay, I've got this idea, I've got a vision. The Force. Never not the perfect time for a Star Wars reference.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think, like, yeah, sometimes if you're, like, feeling a block, sometimes it's best to just, like, sit yourself down. You never know what's going to come up with it or come out of it. And, like, that house is amazing. So, like...
So what I'm doing here is I'm going to kind of create... I'm just going to sketch here because I want to add this in, but I don't want it to be obvious. I want the light to catch the top of, like, his lightsaber hilt and all that kind of stuff. But in order to do that properly, I'm going to have to, like, draw it first. So this is what we're going to do. I don't want it to be, like his blade is like perfect, like aligned. What I want to do is kind of put it into perspective a little bit so that like cross guard is going to go out there and then it's going to be longer out this way, sort of, you know, and give it a little bit of that, give that finesse, that magical finesse.
We love a magical finesse, a little sprinkling.
A little sprinkling
of
magical
finesse,
for sure.
Yeah, Susanna, brilliant work, Val.
Thank you.
Melissa Shower says the only way to do it is to do it. I couldn't agree more.
That's very true.
It's like sounds so simple, but it also is like not always. Sometimes it's difficult.
I'm also going to. I have this bad habit. I feel like I've done it to you a couple of times now. I have this bad habit where I'm listening to what you say and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next and all that good stuff. But then I start talking out loud to myself, and it just seems like I've moved on.
No, I mean we're just here. We're working in real time. We're just having fun with it. Oh, wow.
I just need to make sure I've got that going because it's really dark. So like I'm gonna start hitting stuff with highlights so that it like comes up out of the, and I need to make sure it's not like so crazy. So I'm going to let that be our guide.
Yep.
I don't think that the back pommel of his lightsaber needs to be visible.
No.
I don't think that needs to be over there. I think he just needs to have his hand around this, and we're gonna it's gonna be in perspective a little bit, so we don't have to have like this big long forearm and stuff. We just need to kind of throw some light on where his knuckles and wrist and everything is gonna be like around the side.
Well, and I'm kind of
Scribbles for
amazed.
now.
Like as we've been sitting here chatting, I've like his arm has emerged.
Yeah.
All of a
just
sudden.
kinda,
That's what's so amazing about just like watching you work and watching like the Illustrator process is just like it's a series of little small strokes and then like together over time they come together to form a cohesive image. It blows my mind. It's so cool.
It's I think it's something that too that I really one of my favorite parts of why did that come up? Sometimes my computer's like, do you need this menu? All right, good. All right, just checking.
You're like, nope, thanks, computer.
But I think it's one of my favorite parts to watch in other people's process as well, just to kind of see that come together and watch how they pull stuff out of nothing, you know? And I think that's a question that I always like have for chat, and I always wonder about the process is like, I'm here doing this, and I know what I'm doing, but when do you see it?
Yeah,
When
totally.
do you notice it?
I mean, and I think that's what's really cool about this Adobe Live community. That's what I think is really cool about Adobe generally is it's just like really cool to watch other people's creative processes. There is actually a really cool podcast that Adobe's come out with recently. Teresa Au has a podcast. It's about and for the creator economy. And so she interviews different creators on her podcast. And it's just a really great opportunity to like listen and learn about other people's creative processes, about like sort of the business behind being a creator. And so for anyone listening, I would definitely recommend going to check that out. It's definitely like kind of along the same lines as like what we're talking about here of like learning about other people's creative processes and sort of what goes into what it means to be a creator.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Making is like kind of one of the shows that I've been like tuning into just to like kind of listen to other people's experiences and like how they get, to where they've been going. I lied, by the way. I am making this a long arm. I said that I wouldn't, but it's going to be a long arm.
It looks great.
Thank you.
What is a long arm? What do you mean by a long arm?
Well, because I was going to like do it more in perspective, so it was like a little bit of foreshortening, and then I was like, I'm not going to do that. So, do you ever do that like creatively where you're like sitting there like, oh yeah, this is going to be like this, and then you start doing it and you're like,
Yep, 100%. We're evolving in real time here. And thank you, Wade, for dropping the In the Making podcast link into the chat. So if anyone is interested in checking that out, Teresa Au's podcast about the creator economy, definitely recommend checking that out. Susanna in the chat says, this is great inspiration. I'm going to start drawing out stories and characters that have been haunting me for years, but I haven't done anything with.
oh my gosh, please do it.
I love that.
Please do it. Let me tell you, and this is like, I think that this goes with what we're talking about on the stream and stuff because we've got my personal illustrations here. So like on the subject of writing though, like if you've written characters and you want to illustrate characters that you're doing, please go for it because it is a definitely a huge passion of mine. But like if you look around, you will not find my writing or my the actual stories that I illustrate because it is a source of like a little bit of not I wouldn't say embarrassment, but like when you want to show somebody something that you're proud of, but you're like, you're frightened to show.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of earnest. It's a vulnerable thing to do to share.
Very
like,
much so.
The thoughts around where ideas are coming from.
Yeah, and I love writing stories. I love expressing my original characters, but I have very little confidence sometimes when it comes to sharing those things.
Yep.
But I don't wish that upon anyone. So if you've got OCs and you've got characters and stories and things that you want to do, I currently am on my own journey right now to sharing more of my writing and elaborating more visually and contextually with my own stories and stuff. And I encourage you to do it because life's too short to be sitting around as long as I have and not showing anybody any of the stories you've made.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's something you and I have talked a lot about on our live streams is just like, it's scary, it's vulnerable to share your work as a creative person because it feels so personal to you. It like touches really deeply on on who you are, and so putting it out there is a really scary thing. It sounds like it's something that a lot of people can relate to. And, you know, I think that, I'm trying to remember the name of the person in chat who was just saying that, but, you know, I think that, like, this should be like a sort of a call to action of, like, if you've got that cool idea, if you've got that OC, if you've got that story, create an illustration off of it, create a design off of it, just put it out there, throw it out into the world. I think that that is, like, I don't know, I see it as, like, sort of my responsibility as a creator to just, like, put it out there. And just see what sticks. Anthony Jackson says, true about sharing your work. Yeah, I mean, it's scary, but it's worthwhile, as you've seen with your Star Wars illustrations. Like, you put it out there, and I bet it was kind of scary to put it out there at first.
Because I was, especially with this, because I was like, this is kind of a girly Kylo Ren painting. But I was like, who cares? Who cares if people think that? And then, like, honestly though, I put like stipulations and stuff on myself. Like, this is a girly painting.
Yeah, we all do that.
Know, people aren't gonna like it. But do you know how many, like, I've gone to, like, conventions, and, like, I have the painting on, like, the back of my business cards. So I, like, hand it out. There's so many people that, to me, I thought, like, maybe wouldn't be into it, who were like, this is dope. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true what they say. We are our harshest critics.
Yes.
You put your work out there, and chances are other people are going to be like, wow, this is so cool. Like, you're going to see all the tiny imperfections in it because you've spent so much time on it, you've put your heart into it. But then other people look at it and they're like, this is perfect. This is great.
This is great.
I love this.
This works.
I mean, even me, like, watching you in this process right now, like, I don't know, you're in it right now, but if you were to step back, I'm sure you'd see, like, okay, I want to fix that, and that, and that. And I'm looking at it and being like, this is amazing. People in the chat are like, this is amazing. I mean, it's like, Melissa in the chat says, who cares? Bring on the girly stuff. Couldn't agree more. Susanna Richards says, interesting, creating live like this is incredibly brave. You know, I think, like, it takes guts to put your work out there, but once you start, and that's kind of like where we're at now, is like,
it gets easier
It gets easier as you go, 100%.
I still have, like, the anxiety and stuff when it comes to certain things. Like, I'm not kidding. I really do. Every time I stream, I'm like, I'm going to spell something wrong on this stream. Everyone's going to know that I can't spell. And my thing is, I've started to tell people, because somebody asked me once, they were like, if you like to write stories, shouldn't you be a good speller? And I said, I am not a great writer. I just have a great imagination. That's the thing. That's what we have spell check for.
Exactly.
Spell check
That's all it takes to be a good writer. You don't need to be a good speller.
Yeah,
that's
you don't have to be a good speller to do anything.
That's a nuance, but I think, like, a good writing requires imagination. That's it. The technical stuff you can figure out. Also,
can I just give a tip to any Star Wars lovers out there? When it comes to illustrating lightsabers, a lot of people make the same mistake over and over again.
Yes,
Let me tell you how to draw a lightsaber blade. It's just simple. It's simple. A lot of people think, like, if you're going to paint a red lightsaber, that you do this, and then you make it glow. That's not what you do. All lightsabers are white. They glow the color that they are, but the lightsaber blade itself is white. So if you do this, and that's like the most saturated, brightest red you can get. And so people will do this, and they'll think to themselves, like, why doesn't it look like red and crazy enough? That's because in the movies, if you you can pull up images and stuff, you'll see that lightsabers are actually white down the middle.
Wow. And
then there's, like, if you want to do some of this, let's actually go to like my soft round opacity and throw that on dissolve. You can grab the red, and you can do a little, you know, little something like so. You know, if you want a little glow around it, underneath it, stuff like that. That could be pretty cool. But it's a white blade. So if you are illustrating lightsabers, if you are a lightsaber lover and you want to create fan art of your favorite lightsaber wielders, it is a white blade.
See, you're blowing people's minds in the chat.
Yeah, draw a white stick.
Anthony says, please, how do you draw a lightsaber?
How do you draw a lightsaber? Like a hilt? Like the hilt of a lightsaber? You know what? We were just saying this. I was doing a stream on my own YouTube channel, and everybody in chat realized that, like, how many of us, current and present, were, like, into Star Wars and would love to design their own lightsabers. And then I realized I've never painted a lightsaber. I have painted, like, characters holding lightsabers. In fact, I think, to be perfectly honest, I think the only lightsaber that I have illustrated recently is, I think, if I go to...
We've got Paloma in the chat who says the crystals of power, the lightsabers are white. True, true.
I think this
I
is
did
the
not know that.
only... Yeah. This is the one that I did for Lucasfilm. And that's like the most in-depth lightsaber, like the Inquisitor's blade right there. So I like painted like pieces of her blade,
Cool.
you know, but I don't really illustrate lightsabers. I like a lightsaber by itself. So we were like, we need to do a stream where everybody gets together and like makes lightsabers.
Yeah.
You know, like lightsaber challenge.
That
so
would be
maybe,
so cool.
Maybe that'll happen one of these days. You could do one too. You could totally do like you could do like a graphic design of like, it doesn't have to look like a lightsaber. You can just make your own.
Like a graphic iteration of a lightsaber. I could do that.
Cody Bear watches Star Wars, and Cody Bear was like, I'll do a lightsaber.
I would love to see a Cody Bear
lightsaber, yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds so cool. That reminds me of the squirrel type that we had in our last live stream.
Yes. Anybody can
Wade
be
Cuff says,
a lightsaber person.
Wade is in.
Yes.
So,
Wade, oh my gosh.
I think you need to start a list. You need to
I
send out an email to all these people or something, because I think you've got people convinced.
I think we should definitely do that. I think we can get away with it.
Paloma, are you in? Because Paloma, you also seem like a Star Wars fan. You know that the crystals, the power of the lightsabers are white. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Paloma, can you do it? Paloma says in all the styles. That would be really nice to see.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool? We could do like a big project all together.
Ooh, and Anthony Jackson says creative challenge, lightsaber challenge. Yep.
Hi, this is supposed to be a Photoshop challenge, but instead...
Photoshop challenge meets lightsaber challenge.
Yes, we're doing lightsabers in Photoshop. We could do that. All right, so I'm just gonna throw that in, like, it needs a little bit more something, but like, we've started to kind of, like, you can see he's got like his elbow drawn back there. He's like moving through the darkness here. What would be really, really cool is, you know, we kind of throw that glow from his lightsaber, like, onto his chest and kind of illuminate that darkness down there. We can grab some of this purple here, and what we'll do is, like, okay, there's like a big petal. You know, like,
yep, so we're bringing the swirling petals back in a little bit.
Yeah, and making it like, you know, like, honestly doing something like this, and we'll do this real quick. I'm gonna actually do layer.
Ooh, Gareth says Gareth can do a 3D render of a lightsaber.
Yes,
that'd be cool to see too.
Please do. I think there was it Joshua too who was saying like that they did, or maybe it was you, Gareth. Who was doing like 3D renders of stuff, and I was like, bro, any kind of art, any creativity, welcome.
Yep.
Everybody just do. You know, Adobe did a challenge on Twitch years ago. I was running a show called Pixel Chicks, and it was like women in the industry getting together, like doing illustrations and stuff.
I feel like I've heard it. Maybe I've seen that.
You might have, because I pulled it up a few times. It was like old, but we did a challenge where we were doing like reimagines of our own, like our favorite cartoon characters and stuff. And somebody was like, "Can we submit any kind of art?" I was like, "Yeah, any kind." So we got people who were drawing on paper. We got people who were illustrating digitally and stuff, and we had somebody crochet us a character.
Shut up.
I'm so serious.
Oh my God.
Yes, and I've never
so cool.
forgotten. Somebody was like, well, I don't draw or paint or 3D model, but I love crocheting.
Oh
so
my gosh.
she crocheted us a Tinkerbell.
What?
Yeah, like a little Tinkerbell sitting like on a rock. And I was like, anybody can do the lightsaber challenge. That is so
cool. I'm over here like, now I want a crocheted lightsaber.
Yeah, do it.
How adorable would that be? I'm going to learn to crochet just so I can do that.
Please do.
That'll be my contribution to the challenge.
Let's throw a blur on this, because there's a lot of ways we can do it. Gaussian blur would work. We could do like a Gaussian blur and like throw, like, you know, boom. There's like, you know, some of these are blurred here. And then we could do like here. Let's merge these, and I could do E, and I'm gonna, ooh, how are we doing on time?
Clever says, I can crochet a stick. So we're at 1:44 right now, so we've got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Which I am just like, again, so impressed to see how much has emerged from this. Like, One, you started with your illustration, a pretty tight close-up of your illustration, fully expanded it out using like generative AR. What is that tool called?
Generative Expand.
Generative Expand, thank you. And then that has like given way to this like amazing scene before us.
Thanks.
So cool.
I'm gonna do like a motion blur. Yeah, like a motion blur. Like some of them are Gaussian blur, some of them are a little softer, some of them are like motion blurred out, like boom, like that looks like it's like, you know, being like floating. And then this one is like soft, or not soft, it's like sharp. So we'll like do honestly more of that, like more sharp ones where it's like you're kind of catching it. Like mid. And this is like, you know, like I would put some time into like making these look a little bit, but it's, I mean, it's fitting in there.
It does fit.
You know, I'm throwing these in here and kind of giving that vibe. It's almost like leaving notes for oneself. Like I know that I want to do this thing, so I am, you know, kind of bringing it around, and I'm like, this is what I want to do with it. This is what I want to come back and throw in here.
Yeah, we're sketching.
Yeah, so we can honestly put it here, and with these being on different layers, we could also kind of, you know, do some color variation on a lot of these, and kind of come in with blending modes and have some of them like the edges of some of these petals catching the light, you know, and like really doing a lot of stuff. And that's what I would do if let me put that right there. Yeah. If I had, you know, more time to like sit and finish it, but you know, you can see how this is like kind of coming together into its own little thing. And like I said, we'd like kind of clean up that lightsaber down there, and then I would start to use the same colors of the glow of the lightsaber to start like throwing light to the edges of all of his clothes underneath. Yeah. So you can start to see him emerge there and all that good stuff. So that's how I would do it on, you know, not just an environment, you know, so where I've, you know, started to kind of push this out and make my own thing over here, but also on like a character illustration. This one would be fun to do too, and I think we have like maybe 10 minutes, so we can like kind of elaborate on this one as well. Because what I want to do for this one is I really want to do, I just want to like bring it out just a little bit more, and I want to have his hands like this resting on like an axe. Oh, you know what I mean? Like he's just like chilling, like sup, you know, hanging out. What are you gonna do? You know? You don't even have to worry about like, he's not worried about you. Yeah. You know, you could be worried about him. Yeah. But he's not worried about you. He's just chilling.
No, he's the head dwarf in charge. He's just sitting there chilling.
Yep.
He's the boss.
Yep. So throwing this like right here, and the thing is too, one thing that I do think about is that like, whenever I'm expanding, I'm also making these canvases like much larger. Yeah. So I got to kind of worry about that.
File size and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't want to like make everything work too hard, because I'm like doing all this generative expand stuff, and then I'm doing all this. That kind of gave him a hand.
That's so interesting.
I don't know if I like that hand.
It's a little weird little claw hand.
This could work for what I want, because I don't want. I'm not going to use any of that, but it looks like more shoulder width.
Yeah, he bought you some shoulder. Oh, what?
Not a fan, but I understand. He's got a ball gown from. That's why he didn't want his picture painted.
Yeah, he was like, nope, it's just shoulders down. Up, please.
Satin gown underneath. Yeah. This one's a winner.
Yeah, that gives you a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, we can try. We'll try one. Maybe it'll give me one that's a little bit plain. Really, I don't need it to make me stuff for my personal process. I just need to see, like, honestly, that could work, because it's got like the texture from my background, you know, like thrown in there. I don't know what that is.
He's holding some kind of magical object.
Yeah, this is also interesting.
Snowball? He's gearing up for a snowball fight?
Gearing up for a snowball fight. I think we will go to this big one.
That feels like a big one.
And then what I'm going to do is this. So let's go ahead and make a new layer.
Wait, it says LOL Corey's reaction.
Corey's reactions are great.
I don't even know what my reaction was to the ball gown one, but I'm guessing it was confusion, a little bit of shock.
Let's do, I think Control-Shift-I is not what I want. No, maybe it is. We're going to do it this way, though. I am Today is also an experiment of me working in a different, on a different machine too.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on my my laptop today, which normally if I'm painting on a computer, I'm painting on my desktop, which I could not bring in with me today. But and then I'm also painting in fresco most often these days. So this has been kind of an interesting, like I've got my Intuos tablet over here so that I can paint, and I've been realizing that some of my custom hotkeys that I forgot were custom hotkeys are not set in here. Let's do, because this is pretty, I'm just gonna do, I don't want this massive. I don't want this to be huge. 3,000 by 4,000 is good enough for me because that's gonna give me the space that I want.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna come in here with some dark, and I am going to kind of,
Bloop, bloop.
I want that to be like a cloak draped over his shoulders.
Okay,
That's what that's gonna be.
Christian says it looks like the dwarf has killed an owlbear and is using its skin as cover.
That's exactly what that looks like.
That
You
is
are
what
not
that
wrong.
looks like.
You are not wrong. Owlbears.
An owlbear.
Owlbear, yeah.
I want to see an
Real
owlbear.
thing. You can Google an owlbear.
Wait, are those real?
They're in WoW, I think.
Okay.
It's a WoW thing, right? Owlbear or like an Avatar thing. I feel like there's a few stories that have owlbears.
Yeah, does Avatar have owlbear? I feel like it does.
They have, that was like their signature thing, is that they were, Avatar was like, all the animals were like this and that.
Yep.
Like two at once.
Yep.
Wombo combo.
They were so cute, Wombo combo.
Wombo combo animals.
What a perfect bookend. We're
Yep.
just we're bookending our live streams with Wombo combos.
I am going to, because I know we only have about 4 minutes, I'm going to throw the sketch of this axe in here. And we're going to be really fast about it. That's one blade. Boom, boom.
Oh.
In perspective.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. It's going to be fancy. Oh, yeah. We're going to do a little...
Oh, D&D.
Oh, D&D,
It was in
okay.
the movie.
D&D, okay.
Yeah, that's
You're
what people
right.
are saying.
Boom, boom. We're going to put that right there. Boom, boom. That's-
Amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna make sure I have that on hold shift so I can do a little thing. And then what I'm also gonna do, because I wanna remember to do this later on, is I'm going to make a new layer. And how are we doing on time? I'm good. I think I'm good for a few minutes.
I think
like
you're good. You got a
2
couple minutes.
Yeah.
So, are these projects you're going to continue to work on after the live stream, do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to put some more time in. Honestly, I might put some time into all of them. Honestly,
I think you should.
because I really liked how they came out, and it is just for me personally, it's a really great use case for a lot of the new AI functions, because I'm a painter myself, and I don't really want to use the generative AI features as like a final point for me.
Yeah.
Because I the creating it and doing the illustrating and stuff, that's my process, and that's my my thing that I like to do. But like I can see some pretty great use cases for how I can use that to supplement my process and stuff. And so I've been exploring that, and this is definitely one of those ways where I'm like, okay, I can expand a canvas and I can kind of like have it populate the canvas with my own kind of vibe, my own texture that I get, when I work, and it's been really fun experimenting with that so far. So this is going to be his hand.
So if you continue these illustrations, maybe people should follow you on Instagram just to see what you might come up with after this live stream.
Absolutely.
If y'all in the chat are not already following VooDoo Val, make sure you give her a follow. Her Instagram has been dropped in the chat a couple of times at voodoo.val. Yep, got that right. Give us both a follow. I'm at Corey Allen Hall on Instagram. We've had such a great time hanging out with you for the last couple of hours doing all sorts of generative AI stuff. This is like amazing.
Thanks. I mean, it's scribbly, but if you blur your eyes, you can see where it's going, right?
I mean, I see the axe. The axe is taking form.
Yeah, and he's got his arms like, resting on this, and he's, I'm going to give him like some bracers and, cool stuff, but it's fun. It's fun to come together. Put some of that beard, like hanging down. Give him some heavy pants and give him like a belt with like some more doodads, because dwarves like doodads.
Dwarves like doodads.
Dwarves love doodads.
So we have just another minute or so left. Do you want to like show us just really quick the other two that you've worked on, just to like maybe a super hyper quick recap?
Absolutely. So let me, I'm going to use my mouse so that I don't have to reach across to do all this stuff. But yeah, so we did our dwarf. We did one for Prince Kylo, which used to just be this like, you know, super close in here. And I kind of generated the rest of this texture from the background and then painted in his body and more of the petals. And then we also did an expand on, maybe I can just, it'd probably be good if I just went like this and did a little hide. So that's where we were. This is my original painting that I did, and then I kind of expanded it and started adding in other elements on my own and painting over the top of it. So yeah, that's what we worked with today, kind of expanding my own illustrations and breathing new life into them, adding more to the canvas.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your process. This has just been such a pleasure. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. We had a fantastic time with you today. Make sure you stay tuned in to Adobe Live on behance.com, on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at Adobe Live for all of the latest streams, updates, and more. We are so looking forward to being back with you soon here in the studio. Thank you so much.
Adios, guys.